Hello and welcome. I'm Cheryl Rae and I'm excited because today we begin our journey on how to perceive spirit. But before we move into practicing techniques and exercises, a bit of insight on reality will help suit your senses. In the first image, just relax and gaze. Is this a picture of an old woman or a young girl? In the next image, how many legs does the elephant have? And in the last image, focus on the 4 dots in the center of this image for about 30 seconds, trying not to blink. Then lean back, look at the ceiling and blink a few times. Did you see a Jesus-like figure? The exercise with the images shows how our view of reality is not absolute, but rather a perception that is different for each individual and can change from one moment to another. Generally, we experience and perceive reality through sight, also touch, hearing, taste and feeling, but our eyes react to waves of light and we believe that seeing gives us information about the universe. But it is the brain that interprets those light signals and structures them according to our expectations. One of the hardest parts of a metaphysical lesson is how to step back from our expectations of the world and allow it just to be. In order to function as three-dimensional beings in this realm, we need to define our boundaries and use our 5 senses to function and live. However, we can forget that what we are seeing and experiencing is something that we have constructed, not necessarily something that is. Nothing is what you think it is, because we think, because our mind seeks order out of the chaos, it constructs reality. As long as reality is constructed, it is false. We may get very close to experiencing it, but there is always this layer that separates us. Reality exists beyond consciousness. As long as we use consciousness to experience reality, we cannot know it. It is like trying to find darkness by using a torch. Everywhere you shine the light, you see the light. So, if all reality is an illusion, why do we put so much energy into it? Because we choose to come here to learn the lessons that can only be present in a limited physical system. When you go to a school that specialises in one thing, other stuff doesn't cease to exist. It just isn't part of your world at that time. Also, information is only presented to you depending on your level of consciousness and given within familiar frameworks so that you will understand it. Therefore, things that seem to be true to our senses may not be so to us in the future or in the ultimate reality. However, we can break through. Historically, we have viewed the universe and ourselves purely as physical or mechanical, and our whole world and reality is based upon it. We come from this view in all aspects of our life, in our birth, death, health, education, relationships, everything. But now quantum physics confirms what mystics and seers have stated for eons, that when we go through all the layers, everything is ultimately vibrating energy. Know that whilst we agree to certain conventions, specifically a limited three-dimensional plane to come to learn, what is truly magic is the organising power that pulls everything together and creates something out of nothing. Our physical bodies are held together, animated, given life by energy, as is the entire universe, which, by the way, also means possibilities and our abilities are endless. Everything is a flow of movement. Nothing is static. Nothing is absolute. It is only our perception, and it is unbounded by time and space. You are not merely a piece of the universe, but in a sense, you are the universe. I do want to say here that, as with most of what I share, this perception is not just from books or theory, but from my experience as a psychic medium of over 30 years and several near-death experiences. With one NDE, upon my disappointment in realising I was to return from a profound communion with God and being in the spirit realm, I was instantaneously, as everything is when you're in spirit, sent over the planet, experiencing fully what we understand as oneness with all that existed. I was the people, places, creatures, stars, trees, everything, all together at once, until eventually returning to my body. In a nutshell, everything is energy, and many realms exist in oneness all at the same time, within and around us. They are just on different frequencies, and like radio, we only perceive the station or frequency we are tuned into at that moment. To perceive non-physical realms, spirit, we just need to change our frequency, raise our vibration, and use our six senses. We do this naturally when we feel joy, love, compassion, laughter, magical moments like dancing, gazing at the ocean, childlike play, and daydreaming. My first out-of-body experience occurred while dancing jazz in a group, all moving fluidly in harmony. And up I went out of my body to the ceiling, looking down at myself from above. We can also intentionally raise our vibration through techniques, including meditation, dream work, psychic circles, mediumship, and paying attention to the constant flow of messages from spirit through signs, symbols, synchronicities, and reflecting on their meaning in daily life around us. All of these things bring information from another realm back through into our conscious waking awareness, exercising our psychic muscles and building our confidence in an upward cycle. The more we do, the more we get. I remember the famous TV interview with King Charles being positioned in front of a huge shipwreck on the day spectacular information came to light about his relationship with Princess Diana, and thinking, oh my God, the symbolism was overwhelming. As a symbol, ships generally represent our emotional relationship journey, and this one was a huge wreck of mammoth proportions. My psychic ability became conscious initially through hypnosis and then expanded and strengthened through all I've just mentioned, especially the daily meditation development techniques and a passion, awe and insatiable interest for all related to spirit and the magic of spirit realms. In the Spirit Speak podcasts, I'll share all of these things, many of which were central to teaching others over 30 years at the Adelaide Mystery School, along with countless experiences in spirit along the way, as an ordinary person with extraordinary gifts, just as you are. Central to perceiving spirit is learning the language of spirit. Symbols. Energy is mostly unseen. To begin to comprehend and perceive energy, we can use and refer to what we already know. We need to create and use references to build a base so we can start to understand and convey what we are perceiving in terms of energy. Most of us already do so unconsciously when we say, "This is a fiery person, Venusian woman, dark time, light reading." For example, we can describe something by saying it's like a certain colour, planet, element or feeling. Although a picture or symbol says 1,000 words, and for me the tarot, numerology and dream interpretation were fundamental in my psychic development because they are filled with images, and symbols from which I could draw upon. I will say again here before we move on, everyone is a psychic, medium, healer. We are innately spirit energy. You cannot be otherwise. In the world of energy and spirit, nothing is literal. Everything is a perception, and your perception and others is unique. There is no true or false. The knowing, the understanding that there is no division, no real boundaries, no separation between you or me or anything, everything exists in oneness, allows you to suit your perception. The hardest part is from "I believe this is true" to "I know this is true" because of our ego and belief structures. For most of us it's a process, but countless students of mine and around the world, myself included, are testimony we can perceive beyond the physical realm. My own experience and in teaching students psychic mediumship, healing and spiritual development is that it all very quickly changes once you receive validation that what you perceive from spirit resonates and has meaning for you, others, in your own life or the greater world around you. You can begin to ride a constant stream and flow of communion with spirit. I'm excited to share with you through my podcast the meditations, techniques, practical exercises, spirit experiences and knowledge and more, so you can receive confirmation and build your psychic muscle, spirit and confidence, taking you on a never-ending upward cycle within and without in the all that is. And before we do a few exercises, may I say from my heart, if it is your wish and intention to connect more consciously with spirit realms, beyond the tried and true development techniques and practical exercises, when we have a genuine desire to serve and live with humility and spirit principles in our heart, mind, soul and actions, dreams and so much more can come true. Spirit in oneness wants to connect and communicate with you and will answer. Life can become filled with synchronistic events, dreams, and profound mystical experiences guiding you on your path, which can be truly magical, beyond imaginings, or that I have words for. And now we get to play. Actually, I'm being quite serious. Raising your vibration and shifting the frequencies to perceive spirit can be done in many ways, and we are about to do an exercise. With that exercise, we're going to have fun, and having fun and joy and laughter and lightness actually raises our vibration. So let's play. The first exercise we're going to do will be imagining what's in this box. And remember, everything is one. There is no separation between you or me or the box, regardless of where you are, who you are, what time you're in, whether you're past or whether you're in the physical. There is no separation between anything. So before we begin the exercise, what I'd like you to do is just relax, have a seat, and take a few breaths in and out, slow, long breaths. And enjoy the bird song. Breathe in the moment. Breathe out all else. Breathe in love. Breathe out all else. Breathe in oneness. And merge into the all that is with your intent. And what we're going to do, regardless of whether you call it imagining or seeing or thinking, it's actually all going to be the same thing. You don't need to worry about that. So either imagine or think any of the following. I'll use the word imagine. A little ladder going out of your third eye, in front of your head, and down into the box. Where you will be able to see what is in the box. Don't try too hard. Just rest, just play, and just have the intention to be able to see, feel, know, perceive what's in the box. And when we're doing spirit work, the first thought is spirit's, the second thought is yours. So it'll be the very first thing that comes across your mind, flashes in your vision, whatever way you pick up, and it can be many ways. It's the very first thing. The second thing is your mind thinking, oh my God, it can't be that, or what is it, or what isn't it? So I'll open the box and we'll have a look for you. And what is in the box is a cotton reel. Now the one thing to understand too is you might have got a colour. You might have felt something hard, or you may have had an image of sewing. There's so many ways we can perceive energy or spirit, or what's in the box. So it's also good to notice, was it something you saw or felt or just knew? And was there a feeling that went with it? Sometimes when we see things, we get feelings with it as well. So you may love sewing or you may hate sewing, so that can all be bound up into it as well. But it's also good to notice whether you were visual or felt or knew. There's many, many ways, and the more exercises we do, the more you start to understand your potential in terms of what you're naturally already doing and what you can develop. We can develop all ways of perceiving spirit, but you will have one natural way of perceiving. And I'll put that down because the next exercise, I'll just pop it over here, because the next exercise is another easy one to do. And remember, have fun and don't try too hard and enjoy it. Be childlike, that's the way we get to spirit. So in the next exercise, we're going to create energy balls. Everything is energy, we are energy, and it's all around us. So the first thing we're going to do, once again sitting just calmly, is rub our hands together and rub really hard and vigorously and get that energy going. Get it going. See if you can already start to feel it. And then as you stop, see what you can feel, sense or see, and bring your hands about 6 inches wide. And see if you can feel, see, perceive the energy that you built up in your hands. Let's do it again with a little bit of a add-on at the end. So once again, breathe, relax, rub hands. We love to perceive you, Spirit, or anything you want to show us, as well as a ball. It's all good. And know that you can always get anything. So building the energy, focusing with the intent or imagination of building that energy. And when you've got them there, at about 6 inches, this time I want you to build the energy. So maintain holding that ball of energy. Trust it's there. And then bring energy in and imagine you're gathering energy and bringing it into the ball and building more energy from the all that is, stronger and stronger, building it more and more and more, bringing the energy in and feel it, sense it. Now hold it there while I explain the next bit. In a moment, we're going to throw it in the air. But as soon as you throw it in the air, bring your hands back right down to your sides. So on the count of 3, throw the ball into the air. 1, 2, 3. And see what you notice now. Or don't notice, whatever that may be. I hope you enjoyed those, because it's so important to enjoy things. And I invite you to join the next podcast, which will be a meditation, and getting you into that deep spirit space, lifting your vibration and shifting your frequency. And the following podcast from that will be working in pairs, perceiving someone else's aura and interpreting that on the journey to perceiving spirit. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.